Hi, Ben here again with 801010 Ben. So lately in the raw food community, there's been a lot of discussion about Freely and Harley being kicked out of the pioneers category, and I just wanted to take a moment and share my comments and criticisms about Freely and Harley. So first of all, I want to say that I think Raw Till 4 is a great program. I think people can relate to it. I think people can do it. I think it can turn a lot of people into vegans, and I think it will help a lot of people eat a lot more fruit. So I think we should be pushing raw tofu, even if it's not the optimal diet. I would not recommend to, for example, my parents to just eat nothing but fruit and vegetables. I mean, telling somebody to eat nothing but fruit and vegetables at first is it's too much. They just can't handle it. They don't have the emotional muscle. They don't have the drive. They don't have the understanding. They don't have the willingness. But telling them to do a 10-banana smoothie in the morning and grab some fruit for lunch and then eat a big dinner of pasta that they've always loved as a child anyway, that's reasonable. Now I have some critiques for Freely and Harley. The first is that they are not advocating starch as a backup plan. They are advocating for it as a staple. They're eating it like a staple, and you know that because when Harley goes out on his bike rides, I don't think he's expecting to find fresh, ripe fruit. He knows he's going to go get, rice and curry or something like that. So they're eating it as a staple. My other criticism is that I think they are overharping starch. Wow. I think they are overhyping starch. Dr. Doug Graham wrote a book called Grain Damage. I think they're really far from optimal foods. Harley has this analogy where he says that fruit is gold and starch is silver. I don't think that's the right way to describe it. I think that fruit went on to win the race and starch cramped up in the middle and had to jog to the finish line. So I think they are overhyping starch, but I think it's a good message. I think something that a lot of the raw food leaders are not picking up on is that although they are advocating starch as a staple and eating it as a staple, they are not advocating starch as an optimal staple. They are still 100% in agreement with everything in the Bible here, 80-10-10. Yes, I've read the book. So I don't know what the problem is here. The next thing I want to say is that nobody advocates the fruit lifestyle more than Freely and Harley. They created 30 bananas a day. I think we all use and love that site exists. It's spreading the word. And they require that everybody read 80-10-10, or not require, but they highly suggest it. I mean, they've got more people to read 80-10-10 than, Michael Arnstein or Christina. So I don't know. Nobody's promoting this lifestyle more than these two. So why are they not pioneers? They are pioneers. They're spearheading the 80-10-10 movement. And they're just realizing that the world's not quite this way yet where we can just tell people to eat nothing but fruit and vegetables. I think fruit and vegetables are where it's at. I've experimented with cooked starch a little bit, and it tastes terrible to me. But, if I was coming from a meat-eating diet or, a SAD diet, I'd probably feel great on raw tofu or even the starch solution. So I don't get it. My next question is, what are the qualifications for being a pioneer? Now, are we saying that if they're not following 80-10-10, then they can't be a pioneer? Because I've got news for you guys. Christina, first of all, she's juicing. Dr. Doug Graham does not recommend juicing because he thinks that it's important that we keep the fiber intact. She's also eating dried fruit. She's eating spices, and occasionally she'll add garlic to something like a pasta dish. Now, I'm not suggesting that Christina change her diet, but she's not following 80-10-10 to a T, right? I mean, I know Freely and Harley might be further away in some respects, but at the same time, what's the qualification here for being a pioneer? What reason do you have that's so good that these people should be de-pioneered. Another example I want to bring up is John. John said on one of his videos that he eats 15 to 20% fat per day. That's not 80-10-10. It's just not. I think that that's too much fat personally. I'm not telling John to change his diet, but I read 80-10-10 here, and Dr. Doug Graham talks about how when you eat more than 10% of calories from fat, your ability to uptake, deliver, and transport oxygen and glucose goes down. So I read his book and I say that what John is doing is less than optimal, given those studies. It's just not 80-10-10. Harvey and Freely, they're still eating more like 95-5, right? Which is personally where I think it's at. That's where I want to be. My last point I want to make is that what is the Woodstock Fruit Festival about? What is the Woodstock Fruit Festival about? To me, it's about celebrating the perfect human food, which is fruit. Harvey and Freely are 100% on board with that mission. So again, what's the big deal? They're 100% on board with that mission. For some reason, they have chosen to live in a place where it requires a tremendous amount of work and resources to get to a point where you're 80-10-10 completely raw. I don't understand that choice. I don't think Starch is where it's at all. But they are on board with the message. They're spreading it more than anybody else. To de-pioneer them, Harvey's one of my favorite guys in this movement. I just don't get it. I don't know who made the decision. I can't even imagine how that went down. Yeah, so those are my comments and criticisms. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. You can like my Facebook page you can find the link down below. All right, thank you. Hopefully this contributed something new.